Kita kanila? Tapitaan sa nako.
It's the poor people who sacrifice their lives for us. What do we know? What do we know? And it reached a point where I began to realize how some people have sacrificed to help this country, and they're long forgotten. And I reached a point when, after the Battle of Marawi, I made it a point that the City Council of Cebu would appropriate a financial assistance program to the families of the 130 soldiers or so who died in Marawi. And the city government appropriated 10 million pesos for that. And it turns out that I'm ashamed that we're the only local government that did something for them. Because when the families arrived here, I talked to them, and it seems like they're forgotten. And then when I realized, based on our own experience, really history, we hear about the Araw ng Kabitingan, Bataan Death March, but I also recall incidents of how many Filipinos have sacrificed their lives who are not in Bataan. There was an uncle of mine. His name was Emilio Osmeña. He was the father of the late Senator John Osmeña, the late Governor Lito Osmeña. He was in the mountains being a reserve U.S. colonel, and they found out that he was separated from his family, and they sent word to him that we have your family. If you don't surrender, we will kill your family. So he surrendered. He was brought back here to Cebu, and the Japanese government told him, we're willing to make you the governor of Cebu, or suffer. So they beheaded him. And there's others also, like Governor Layson, who was governor of Cebu, was also executed by the Japanese. And then I begin to think of all the things now, especially as I watch YouTube and watch history and see all the sacrifices done by Filipinos, that I remember many stories and many things that I heard through my life. And one of the most corny story that we're all exposed to is the life of Jose Rizal. We have chosen Jose Rizal as the #1 national hero. And I began to realize he was not a soldier. But there's something I began to realize about Jose Rizal. If you know anything about him, he's good looking actually. He's very well educated. He was in Europe. He could have lived a nice life over there. He was a physician. No, he decided to come back here because he wanted to help this country. And he died because of it. So, how many people like this have we forgotten? When you look at the stories and going back to even World War II, there were many soldiers, Americans and Filipinos, who were in the death march in Bataan. But there were many who were not in the death march. And they came out and they fought, and they formed the backbone of the guerrilla movement. What about them? Many of them gave up their lives, and they fought without ammunition, without the support, just with the hope that one day we will be able to restore freedom in our country. I remember the year was 1971. It was the night before Christmas Eve where I spent maybe 6 or 7 hours talking to Senator Ninoy Aquino. And the guy's very talkative. He was telling me all his experiences. But one of the things he talked about was that his experience in the Korean War. Ninoy Aquino was the youngest international news correspondent of Korean War. He was only 17 years old. And there was a time when the Filipino battalion was practically massacred. And he went there the following day with the rescue force, with the few survivors. And was telling me how they made their last stands when the other United Nations troop contingents withdrew. The Filipinos remained behind. So we've missed out on many things. And so I'd like to take this opportunity to tell you that let's not forget and think for a moment that if and when trouble comes, there will be many people who will sacrifice themselves, just like those that have sacrificed themselves in the past. So on behalf of the city government of Cebu and the people of Cebu, we share with you this little sentiment that we hope that this country will be a much better country because of all of these people who made their sacrifices. And let's hope that it was not in vain. Thank you very much.
Attendance na lang ko picture.
Thank you very much once again to Honorable Tomas Arosmeña, ladies and gentlemen, our acting mayor and chat chairman. Let's give him another big round of applause. Speaking of sacrifices, ladies and gentlemen, if there's one thing that we can guarantee in this day and age, and of course in the many commemorations that we have over the many years here in the local government unit of Cebu City, those that have fallen and those that have given their sacrifices have never been forgotten. And this is one thing that we can attest to. Speaking of not forgetting, ladies and gentlemen, we shall now be hearing a message from the Veterans Federation of the Philippines, Region 7, representing Second Lieutenant Leonardo F. Fabiano, the President. We have Master Sergeant Rodolfo R. Bumaat Jr. A big round of applause, please.
Sige, straight lang yan, nasa right.
Our beloved Acting Mayor, Honorable Tomas Arosmeña, sir. We have the OIC of Cebu City Police Office, Police Colonel George Ilanan, sir. All other chiefs of the different units are present with us today this afternoon. The heads of offices and other departments of the city government. Other guests, fellow veterans, which I see mga magigiting ngayon. We have here with us post-war veterans. Wala na ang World War veterans. And these post-war veterans have served mostly 20 to more than 30 years of service. Now retired, such as me. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. We have come here together